Hey, it's Kelly with ifyouhaveanegg.com, and we are not doing the chat live tonight because we are headed back from Disney World, and we had a great week down there. The weather was kind of stinky the first few days. It was really cold, and if you all watched chat number 50, you know exactly what I mean. I think it was 30-something degrees while Debbie and I were sitting out there doing our chat number 50, but anyway, today is Sunday, December the 17th. We are not live. This is a pre-recorded chat. I'm actually recording it as we're driving back. So we have stopped for gas, and I'm hoping that when we start again that nobody gets car sick, because you'll be able to see traffic going behind us. And I'm gonna get distracted here for just a second. There's the prettiest cat out here at the where we stopped for gas. Okay, I'm not gonna get out and get it. Just gonna sit here in the car and sit here in the truck and be quiet. But anyway, it's a really pretty cat. Okay, so this is chat number 51, and those of you that are watching this at 8 p.m. tonight on Facebook, again, today is Sunday, December the 17th, and if you're watching this on Facebook, this isn't live tonight, so I can't see any thumbs ups and I can't see any hearts like normal, but do please still comment, because I will see them later after we get the camper dropped off, and I promise I will answer them. Okay, and let's see, if you want to watch this later on YouTube, it's youtube.com/ifyouhaveanegg, or if you want to watch this and read the transcripts for it, that will be on my blog later, www.ifyouhaveanegg.com. And I just posted the transcripts from last week, which was our first week talking about freestyle, and I answered all your questions, or a lot of your questions. I have more that you've asked this week, so I answered those in the chat, and I answered them on the blog, which is again www.ifyouhaveanegg.com. Okay, so this is so weird because you all are not here, so I can't see you, and I can't see you saying hi, but I'm gonna say hi everybody. And I feel like Aunt Bethany on Christmas Vacation when she goes in and says I should say hi everybody. So hi everybody, and I promise if you comment, I will comment back and say hi, but if you don't comment, I won't know that you were here, so please comment. Okay, so this is chat number 51, and this is talking about so our food selections on Freestyle. And I just have to say that Freestyle has made it the best time ever to be the egg lady, since eggs are 0 Freestyle smart points now. So now better than, what time better than ever to be the egg lady, because now if you have an egg, you really have hope, because they're 0, and there's so many things that you can do with eggs. We'll talk about all those on another day. But chat number 51. So we're talking about, what foods we're going to eat on Freestyle. I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. This is the end of the second full week for Freestyle. So a lot of you all are either wrapping up a week, or like my second week will finish Monday. It'll actually finish tomorrow because my weigh-in is on Tuesday. And so a lot of you all are wrapping up your second week. Some of you have just started, and I know some of you are brand new to Weight Watchers, and you're thinking, why are y'all making such a big deal about Freestyle? It's just Weight Watchers. Well, if you've been on Weight Watchers for 24 years like I have, this is probably our 6th program change. I am really liking this one though. I lost 2.8 pounds my first week on Freestyle, and I know a lot of other people did really well. I'm seeing weight losses of, I've been trying to keep up with you all this week while we're at Disney. I know I didn't talk a lot, but I did try to check in and to keep up with you all. So I'm seeing weight losses anywhere from 0.2, a lot of 1s, 1.5s, a lot of 2s, some 3s and 4s. We even had one that was 10 pounds, but that was our dear Tedder's, and she's had some surgery, so I have a feeling that was probably some fluid buildup. But still though, I mean, that's awesome to be able to lose that much. I'm hearing lots of comments like people that have lost weight for the first time in weeks. They've kind of stalled out. It's one thing to hit a plateau and be at that plateau for a week or two, but some of these people have been at the plateau for several weeks, and a couple of them for a couple of months. And Freestyle has kind of kicked it back into gear. Had several people say that they hadn't had a weight loss this big since their first week on Weight Watchers. That was kind of the same thing for me. I've been on maintenance now for 3 years, so I don't have big weight losses and big weight gains. I mean, mine, fluctuates, within a pound or two you know, because I've been on maintenance for 3 years, so I go up and down, you know, a tenth of a pound, couple of tenths, but you know, but 2.8 was a significant weight loss for me. And we're gonna start driving, so if you get car sick, sorry, because I can't do anything about it. But anyway, so we've had a lot of people that, you know, haven't had a weight loss this big, you know, in a while. So that was encouraging. Had some comments of people feeling full and feeling satisfied, and they don't normally feel full or satisfied. That's kind of the experience that I had. My full meter is kind of broken. Y'all have heard me say that I did not do well on Simply Filling because it had too many things that I could go crazy with, you know, like a lot of the carbs and the whole wheat pastas and the whole wheat breads and things, and I could go crazy on them. And I didn't do well being unmonitored on that. I just never, I don't know, I never quite felt full. But on this one, on Freestyle, I'm feeling satisfied. A lot of people saying they love it. Have a lot of people saying that they love it. A lot of people saying that it's easy to follow because the budget is still yours. It's yours to do with, you know, what you want and to, you know, to plan out, and because you don't have to track everything, it's easier for some people to follow. I am so happy to have beans and corn back in my diet. I had, you know, kind of limited those two things just because, you know, because they were higher in points. And it's so funny because a lot of the things that are on Freestyle are things that my mom was feeding me back when she was still at home. And sorry, it's gonna be bumpy for just a second, but a lot of the things that are on there that have been added onto the 0 points list are things that she was feeding me, and I was, you know, enjoying, but I was having to count a lot of points. But yeah, so it's nice to have beans and corn back in the mix. Okay, I do like that a lot of people have been saying that it's they like that it's a budget and that they're no longer chasing blue dots. You can still get a blue dot, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but we've had some people say that they, you know, that they're enjoying the budget and not having to track if they don't want to. Had one person say the protein is filling her up and she's feeling satisfied but not stuffed. So I want y'all to stop and think about that for a minute. There's a big difference between feeling satisfied and feeling stuffed. Satisfied means that you've eaten until you are satisfied, but you don't have that stuffed feeling, you know, kind of that, you know, where you needed to have your buffet pants on, you know, feeling like you needed to, you know, kind of stretch that out. Had another lady say that on her first weekend, she's not digging around in the refrigerator like she normally is. She's not, you know, doing that refrigerator roulette where she's, you know, kind of hunting for something to eat. And several people said now the refrigerator is full of so many pretty colors because the foods that have been added back in, it makes it colorful. It makes for a colorful plate. Okay, but we also have some people who are not enjoying the new Freestyle program. If I had to, I didn't count everybody, but if I had to do an approximation, I would say probably 90% of you who commented are enjoying the program. You are having some success. You are, you know, doing, you know, pretty well with it. And then about 10% of you have either not seen any weight loss and you're a little bit frustrated. Hold on a second, I'm going to turn this around so John can see where he's merging. Anyway, about 10% of you all are not liking the program so far, and it's pretty much because you're not seeing as much weight loss as everybody else that's on Facebook saying, oh, I've seen 3, 4, 5, you know, pounds, whatever, or you're not finding foods that, you know, you're not finding any of the 0 smart point foods that you like. So there are an awful lot of you all that seem to just be eating a lot of cheese and snack foods. So I'll be talking to you all here in just a few minutes, but okay, so I'll talk to you all too. So we've got probably 90% of you all are loving it and enjoying it, and about 10% are not so much. So I'm going to talk to both of you all. We're going to do some more questions first though. We've had quite a few questions coming in about the program. I want to get those answered first. The first one that we had was, do you have to track? So I had that one for last week, and then I've had it, I don't know, a handful of times again this week. People wanting to know if you have to track everything. No, you don't have to track everything. You do not have to track your 0 Freestyle Smart Point food. So things like eggs, tofu, chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, skinless turkey breast, things like that. You do not have to count them if you don't want to. You don't have to track them if you don't want to. I am, just so that I know, again, I want to keep myself accountable to, for what I'm eating, and so that I know what I've eaten, and if I've had a good week, I can go back and repeat it, and if I had a not such a good week, I can kind of go back and analyze that and see what happened. Okay, so that was one question. Then we had this was one of the ones from the 10% of you all who are not enjoying it as much yet. I think you will. I had one person say, I don't like any fish, so I'm having trouble finding 0 smart point choices. I don't know why you specifically chose fish. Fish is just one of the new 0 smart point foods. There are 200 foods that are 0 smart points, 200 that fit into that category. So I'm not really sure why she specifically chose fish. I've answered her in a separate message, so I'm not going to point her out here. But if you're here, hey, not sure why you chose just fish, you don't have to like fish. So, and it's not just fish, and it's all kinds of fish, including shellfish. So if you like clams or shrimp or anything like that, tilapia, grouper, there's a whole lot of things that are considered fish, but you don't have to eat fish. You absolutely do not have to eat fish. That's just 0 smart points now, 0 freestyle smart points. And then I had several people say, I don't like any of the 0 smart point foods, any of them, like none of them, which I find hard to believe. But I do have a friend who eats a lot. She's one of the cheese eaters. Sorry for the bumpy road. She eats a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches, a lot of macaroni and cheese. She doesn't eat a whole lot of fruits and vegetables, and actually just had chicken nuggets for the first time last year. So people that don't think you like anything on there, we'll talk about this again here in just a little bit, but I'm gonna suggest that you go through that list again, and I know that's a little bit tedious, but I've put it on my blog. All 200 foods are on my blog. It's www.ifyouhaveanegg.com, and we'll talk more about those over the upcoming weeks. But there are so many choices that I'm having trouble believing that you all can't find anything, that there's a few of you, again, you're like the 5%. The 5% of you all who are on have commented on Freestyle that you're not finding anything that you like out of 200 things. So anyway, we'll talk about that some more in a few minutes, and we'll talk about it in some upcoming meal ideas and chats. Okay, so we had one question from Popcorn Karen. And she has not been able to go back yet after her surgery. So we've had several people that have had surgery, and they're getting a slow kick back in, or having some trouble, kicking back in. And so she hasn't been yet. She hasn't gotten her new materials yet. And so she wanted to know what the best hints from the booklets and the materials that are provided, what those are, and what some good first steps are. So those of you that are watching this later, I would like for you to comment and answer Karen here. I'm going to give her a couple of things. First, I'm going to say that if you have time, and if you're able to, I would dual track for the first few days that you're on it. And dual tracking just means if you're eating the same things that you were eating before, just go ahead and dual track those. You should have written down how many smart points, regular smart points, they were before, and then go ahead and calculate them under the new Freestyle smart points to see what your points difference is. I think you're going to be surprised if you were eating like I was. I obviously eat a lot of eggs, and I eat a lot of things that are now 0 smart points. I think some of you are going to be surprised how the points have changed, and how different it's going to be. So, but I would encourage you to try and dual track so that you can see that you're really not losing points. They're just getting renamed. They're just getting allocated in a different way. But I would dual track just so that you can see that, and it might help you make some some different choices on some things. Like I'm adding beans to things now, and corn to things now that I wasn't adding them to, just because those are 0 smart points. The build a meal that is in the Freestyle book, the first book that you get, the build a meal, I think is a really good one, because you take like an ingredient. So you take one ingredient that's 0 smart points now, and you build a meal around that, like the chicken breast or tofu or something like that, and you take one new 0 point, one of the new 0 Freestyle smart point foods, and you build some meals around that. You could do that with beans, you could do it with corn, and again, we'll talk about some of those later. I think tracking is still going to be very important for a lot of us, even though you don't have to track the new Zero Smart Point foods. I think at least until we get a handle on it, or like for me, since I need the accountability, I'm going to continue to track. I think tracking is very important to keep, to kind of, tell you, where you're at. And we had a friend years ago that, that would tell us that, to measure everything. And how was it that Steve used to say that? He would say, he had a saying that he would use, and I'll try to think what it was, but he had us measure everything. We measured our time, we measured our productivity, we measured we measured everything so that we would know where we stood with it. So, he wanted us to quantify everything that we did. And sorry, it's a little bit bumpy in Georgia. So Georgia, you need to work on your roads a little bit. Also, I think it's really important this first few weeks to relax. Just relax and trust the process. There are an awful lot of you all out there that are, absolutely wound up tight over this program change. If you're having trouble adapting to it, I know you've got 7 days worth of meals that you know what the Smart Points are or were, what the old plan was. So ease into it, ease your way into it. You don't have to do it all or nothing. Just relax, relax and take it easy, change out a few meals at a time if you're not ready to jump in, all the way. So Karen, that would be my first, tips. Then, and let's see, I skipped a question. Sorry about that. Okay. Then I had someone ask, what about refried beans? So the entire 200 Zero Freestyle Smart Point list is already on my blog, www.ifyouhaveanegg.com. It'll also be on my app, and my app's available in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. You have to look up If You Have an Egg, just all run together. So it's available there. Obviously, it's available on WeightWatchers.com. It's available as part of your e-tools or your Weight Watchers online. It's available in the eating guide if you got one of those at your meeting. If you didn't get one, you can ask for one. Anyway, there's lots of places to get it. So, but refried beans is on there as long as they are fat-free refried beans, and they can be pinto beans or black beans. So yeah, either one of them, as long as they're fat-free. So they can't have any oil added into them. But yes, those are Zero Smart Points. Okay, I had a lot of people this week that said, I don't know what to do with tofu. You don't have to know what to do with tofu. Just like the fish, if you don't want to eat tofu, you do not have to eat tofu. This is not old Weight Watchers. You're not required to eat. I think way a long time ago when I first joined, we were supposed to eat like a can of tuna, or I don't know, we were supposed to eat tuna like 3 times a week, and cottage cheese, and I don't remember, they had really, really weird rules, and there were things that you had to eat. There was a minimum of how many you ate. You don't have to eat tofu. Would I like for you to eat tofu? Sure. And I have recipes on the blog that are made with that. There's lots of great, places to find recipes, and I'll keep showing you some more, but you don't have to eat tofu, and you don't have to know what to do with it. That's what I'm here for. I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, got a lot of this one this week. Are my recipes in the recipe builder automatically updated? Yes, if you put something into the Weight Watchers recipe builder and it was a common ingredient. Now, I don't mean if in the recipe builder, if you put, Aunt Fannie Mae's 5-bean or arugula, whatever, blend. If it was something really, really, really specific that Weight Watchers may or may not have picked up the change yet, then that may not be in there. But if it had normal ingredients in it, like corn or beans or chicken breast or whatever, if it was a normal ingredient, then yes, the Weight Watchers app should already be updated, and it should have already updated the Smart Points on your recipes. Are the member added foods that were added to Weight Watchers already updated? Those are not all updated. And those would be foods where, we've all done it, where we've scanned something and the Weight Watchers app didn't find it, and it asked if you wanted to add that food, and you put in all the nutritional information yourself, and then you gave it a name, and hopefully you correctly entered the information, and hopefully you correctly entered the serving size, because that will eventually be posted for other members to look at. But then when you scan it, it'll pull it up and it'll say such and such is entered by member you know, and C or whatever, and it'll have the person's name next to it. No, all of those have not been updated. So be careful. If it's not something that's already in there, you need to go ahead and re-enter it yourself. You need to go ahead and re-enter all of the nutritional information, and go ahead and calculate that, you know, yourself. Okay. Kim wants to know, are there any suggestions for those that don't seem to be losing like others on Freestyle Smart Points? So I promised you that we would, I know it hasn't been long, it's only been, it's been 20 minutes, but we're looping back around to that. Okay, so for those of you that are not losing as fast as other members, I have a couple of comments. So first of all, are you eating enough? Or are you one of the, and this isn't Kim specifically, this is just everybody in general who seems to be struggling a little bit. You know, are you getting enough to eat? Are you eating enough of the 0 Smart Point foods? I know there are lots of people who are nervous. You're nervous about eating them, thinking that you're going to be eating too much. Unless you're eating, you know, like a pound of chicken and 6 cans of beans and, you know, and a pound of tofu and a dozen eggs, you know, you're going to be fine. So just make sure that you're getting enough to eat, make sure that you're starting your day, you know, enough. And then I did have the person last week that asked, you know, about eating all 0 point foods and then going wild at night. I hope those of you that are not having the significant weight losses, I hope none of y'all are doing that. Even though technically you can, still, you know, everything in moderation and don't stuff yourself. Also, you know, I've seen a couple of people who, because it's a 0 now, have taken it to the other extreme, and they're literally, you know, even though you can have all that you care to eat, they're stuffing themselves. There's no reason, there's no reason to stuff yourself. Okay, so I will also say this about fiber. So I know a lot of you all are suddenly consuming beans and corn and things like that, where you had not been eating them before. And if you were a previous bean eater and you started eating them again, you shouldn't see much, you know, difference, or you should, you know how it's going to affect your body. But I will say this, fiber, a lot of the foods that we are adding back in, like especially the beans, have a lot of fiber in them. And it might take your body a few days to a few weeks to get adjusted to that, especially the beans. The average American only consumes about 15 grams of fiber a day. So that means your body has gotten used to, if you're one of those people, and I know you're not all one of those people, but if you're one of those people, then that means your body has gotten used to only consuming 15 grams of fiber a day. And when you get more than that, or when you consume more than that, or if you've added back in the beans, you're going to need to make some adjustments. What you should get is between a woman, a normal human woman, should be getting between 25 and 30 grams of fiber a day. And soluble fiber is the best kind. So insoluble fiber are leafy greens and things that we used to call them, you know, doctors used to call it roughage, that you needed some more roughage in your diet. So that would be leafy greens. Soluble fiber, though, is that kind water, it like, soluble fiber, it absorbs the water and it kind of turns into a gel before it's processed, if you know what I mean. And so if you have increased your fiber intake but you haven't increased your water, then all it's doing is it is that soluble fiber. And soluble fiber is found in like Brussels sprouts, asparagus, beans, legumes, lentils, some fruits. So if you've increased your intake of those but you haven't increased your water, then you actually may be holding water in parts of your body that you don't normally hold water. And that's all I'm going to say, without going into too many gory details. If you need more detailed information about that, please feel free to message me. But it actually could be holding on to the water, you know, and building up in there. You need to drink plenty of water, especially if you've just added this back. So if you're one of those people that you've only been getting 10 to 15 grams of fiber a day, and now all of a sudden, because you've added beans and things, you're getting 25 to 30, you need to significantly increase your water intake. You need to be drinking at least 8 or 9 glasses of water a day. And that doesn't mean chug a glass while you're eating. That means all throughout the day, because you've just introduced a new thing to your body, which will actually help your body work better. It'll help your body do the things that it's made to do. But you need to be sure and give it plenty of water. And trust me, once you get that balance worked out, all that's gonna kind of come out in the wash, if you know what I mean. It's gonna flush on through, and you might see a significant weight loss. I just know when I was eating with my mom a lot when she was still home, we consumed a huge amount of beans and tofu, and I'm not exaggerating when I say there were nights that she would send me home and I would sit and calculate it, and she would have fed me like 35 to 40 grams of fiber in a meal, one meal, just one. And if you get that much and you don't drink enough water to go with it, yeah, you're gonna have a different kind of problem. So I'm just saying, go ahead and drink enough water to go ahead and kind of, you know, get things moving and moving along. And I think that'll, you know, that'll help with some of you all that are not seeing the significant weight losses, you know, too. And again, don't be afraid to use your points. Don't be afraid to use your 0 point foods. I personally, just for me, would not use a lot of my, I will not be using a lot of my smart points, my extra smart points on carb, like high carb foods, just because I tend to not do as well with those. So stick with it. I know it'll work if you're using enough points, and if you're getting enough variety. And again, drink. Get that water in. I promise it'll come. And you may be surprised. You may be, you know, holding on to it for the first couple of weeks, and then you might get a big surprise and get a big weight loss with that. Okay, then I had let's see. Okay, and then Beth is having trouble with the free carbs. So I don't consider, okay, corn, yes, I would consider a carb, even though they've put it on the okay list. Beans have enough other things going on, and they're complex carbohydrates, and they have lots of fiber and lots of protein and lots of other things. I wouldn't be as concerned about the beans, but if you're having trouble with some of the new foods, controlling them, like if you're afraid you're going to be overeating them, then start with a serving. I don't want to see anybody opening a can of beans and just eating straight out of the can. Nobody needs to be putting, a cup of corn on their plate. Start with a serving. So a serving of beans is a half of a cup. Put a half of a cup of beans on your plate. Or if you're made soup, start with 1 cup of soup. Whatever you serve yourself, that's how much, if you're like me, that's how much you're going to eat. So if you go ahead and put, 3 cups of soup into a bowl, or 3 cups of chili into a bowl, just because you can have that now, I'm going to sit and try and figure out how to eat 3 cups of chili, of whatever I put in there. I have a lot of people asking about how are they going to feed their family and friends and not have them have a meltdown because now it's diet food. Well, hopefully you've been weaning your family and friends into this anyway, before we move to Freestyle. But I'll say what I said last week. I'm under a big don't ask, don't tell policy. If they don't ask what's in it, you don't have to tell them what's in it. There's 0 reason for you to announce when somebody walks into your kitchen. Oh, well, I shouldn't say 0 reason. There's only 1 reason you would announce it. If you have any friends or family that are allergic to soy, or they have a soy, any kind of a soy intolerance, that one you do need to, kind of feel out, kind of check out before you start feeding them a lot of things that are made out of soy, because those people, if they're actually allergic to soy, you could cause them some trouble if you sneak some of that stuff into their food. But again, I'm on the, the strict, don't ask, don't tell policy. If they don't ask what's in it, don't announce when they come into the kitchen, hey, that chili that I just made for everybody has ground skinless chicken breast in it that's 98% fat-free instead of the hamburger meat that you were expecting. They're not going to know. There's no reason for you, for you to announce it to them. So, plus there's a lot of things that you can hide. And sorry, I've got to adjust my arm. There's a lot of things that you can hide in the food that your kids, husband, if you're a picky eater, you may not even notice, is in there. So you can hide things in good ways to hide some of these new 0 point foods, even if you're hiding them from yourself. Chili. I mentioned chili a few minutes ago. You can hide beans. You can hide veggie or soy crumbles. You can hide ground turkey breast. So a lot of the things that are on the new 0 point list, you can hide in chili. You can do the same thing with soups. Casseroles are a great way to hide things. I know Drizzle Me Skinny has a lot of casseroles on her on her website and on her app, and you could sneak some veggies in that. Like you could do some riced cauliflower or some riced broccoli. You could use pureed pumpkin for some things. You know, there's a lot of ways to hide some of these 0 point foods if you really think you don't like the taste of them. There's some ways to hide them. You can do layered salads. My sister makes an absolutely fabulous pea salad that has iceberg lettuce, peas. You can put carrots in it. It's got hard-boiled eggs in it. And I was just thinking, earlier today, that would be a great one. If I can figure out what to put in the yogurt, that would be a great one to mock. And to try and remake, because I bet I can get it down to, if not 0 smart points, I bet I can get it down really, really, really low. And the way my sister makes it has been, I want to say like 8 or 9 smart points for a cup. But I bet I can sneak some things in there on the new 0 point, and get that in. Parfaits are another good way, for people that are trying to get in the non-fat plain Greek yogurt. You can use that in a parfait. You can do, layered fruit. You can do, a little bit of artificial sweetener. Like, I don't like the really artificial sweeteners. I like the Truvia. You can put that in there to sweeten it. Use a little bit of vanilla. Some of the coffee syrup, some of the sugar-free coffee syrups are delicious in those, and then just layer it with some fruit. And you snuck in some 0 points, and they're delicious, and everybody will enjoy them. I will also say this: the plain fat-free yogurt, the Greek yogurt, is an excellent substitute for sour cream on chili, on tacos, things like that. It's really good. Like, you wouldn't know that it wasn't sour cream, and it's 0 smart points. Please don't let me see you just making grilled chicken and steamed broccoli for your family. So I have had a couple people say that, we're only 2 weeks in and my family's tired of eating grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. I'd be tired of eating grilled chicken and steamed broccoli too. Do you not make anything else? Stay with the blog, stay with the Facebook groups. You can find plenty of other things to make besides just grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. Okay, then let's see. Okay, so I had a lot of questions about the blogs that are being updated, and I will tell you this: I got these. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to this a second. So, some places that you can get some help on some meal ideas. If you go to the meetings, or if you're online, if you go to the weeklies, they always have a recipe in them, and obviously all of the recipes now are focusing on 0 smart point foods. But they usually have some really yummy ideas. A lot of the Facebook groups have people that are putting great ideas in there. I know the girls over on the If You Have an Egg Facebook group, they've been posting a lot of yummy things. They've been getting really, really creative with their 0 smart point things. So I highly suggest that. If you're not in our group yet, please remember to answer the 3 questions. I'll put a link for how to get there in this transcript, or it's already in the transcript for the 50th chat. But please answer the questions. Now there's and I have been working on this, Casey and I both have been working on this, but we have almost 2,400 new requests. And I know somebody is going to comment on this and say, well, then just, scrape them off. Don't check them out. No, some of these people didn't know. They didn't get the memo. They didn't watch the chat. They didn't know that it was important to answer the 3 questions. So we still check them out. It's just a lot faster. We let you in a whole lot faster if you answer the 3 questions, because then we don't have to, kind of research it. But anyway, so that's a great place. Of course, my blog, www.ifyouhaveanegg.com. My app. If you go to the Apple store, if you go to the the iTunes store, or if you go to the Google Play Store, you have to look up If You Have an Egg, all run together, and it'll have a lot of new Freestyle Smart Point things on there. If you go to drizzlemeskinny.com or her app, and you just look up Drizzle Me Skinny for her app, I asked her today, and she said the recipes are pretty much already updated. So she's already got on her blog, so that's on drizzlemeskinny.com. So she has most of those are already updated to the new Freestyle Smart Points, so you can go ahead and start making those and use the correct points. The app, on the other hand, because she does all of the hard coding herself, it's going to take her a while. So she's thinking the recipes that are in her app, and she has lots of recipes on her app too. That's going to be late February to early March before those are updated. So again, they're not going to go up. You know, obviously none of the recipes on her app are going to go up, so you're safe recording them at the smart points that they are now. You just may be recording too many smart points, so that's not a bad thing. Skinny Taste they've already been updating theirs. She's been putting on Facebook, and I believe in other social media, she's been updating the smart points for all of her books and for her recipes. Of course, you'll have to go back and, you know, handwrite those in your books if you have any of her recipe books, which I'll be doing that too. Emily Bites has already started. I think Emily's doing like I am and starting with her newest recipes and then working backwards. And then Hungry Girl has already started updating hers too. I don't know if she's doing her specifically for her, you know, to coincide with the books, but I'm sure she will. And again, all of these people, there's lots more, are all on different social medias, and so anything new that we're posting is going to be in the Freestyle Smart Points. Just realize, those of us that it's just us, like me and Drizzle Me Skinny, it's going to take us a little bit longer because, like, for me, it's just me. So I'm not a paid blog, so I don't have people that are sitting waiting to update the recipes. But as I update them, I'll be adding them to the Weight Watchers recipe builder. So hopefully, I think that means that you'll be able to pull them up, but we'll find out soon. Okay, let's see. The next thing is I had so many people asking what if they don't cook at home? You know, what are they supposed to do? So for some reason, there are a lot of you all that are feeling left out because you don't get a chance to cook, you're not preparing food at home, and you're trying to figure out what to do. Okay, so quickly, because somehow, even though this is not a live chat, I've managed to talk for 36 minutes already without anybody even here to distract me. So imagine how long this would take if y'all had been here to distract me. Oh, and before I forget it, please don't forget, if you are watching this on YouTube, which is just youtube.com/if you have an egg, please remember to subscribe so that you'll, you know, continue to get these later. And of course, I always like that when you like them. And there's somebody going through and disliking all of my videos. I don't know why. Anyway, maybe they just don't like Freestyle. Okay, so for those of you that are feeling left out because you don't cook a lot, you're always on the road. I'm sorry, it's a little bit bumpy right here. Come on, Georgia, fix your roads. Anyway, for those of you that are feeling left out because you don't get to cook a lot, you're on the road, you're, you know, eating out, whatever, I'm just going to read off a list, and this is not everything, this is not inclusive, and I'll try to make an inclusive list on the blog, www.ifyouhaveanegg.com, but all of these things are either 0 or 1 Freestyle Smart Point. So tell me you can't find something to eat even out on the road with all of these things. If I don't say how many it is, then it's 0 Freestyle Smart Points, or if it's 1, then I'll mention it. Okay, Chipotle black beans, 0 Smart Points. Chipotle corn salsa, 0. Chipotle pinto beans, 0. Subway Fit and Fresh rotisserie style chicken chopped salad without dressing, 0 Freestyle Smart Points. Subway turkey breast, just the meat, 0. Qdoba black beans, 0. Jimmy John's turkey tom lettuce wrap, no mayo, 0. Buffalo Wild Wings naked tenders, 4-piece. That's no sides or sauces. That's just for the tenders, but that's 0 Smart Points. Applebee's grilled chicken, the breast only. That's no sides, that's no bread, you know, no salad, but, you know, but for the chicken breast. So theirs is a grilled chicken breast with apparently nothing added, because that is 0 Smart Points. Cracker Barrel pinto beans are 1 Smart Point. So, you know, don't assume anything. I mean, I still think that's a great deal. It's just 1. It used to be 4. I used to avoid them because it was 4. But because they're cooked with a little bit of fatback or ham, they are 1 Smart Point. IHOP fried eggs, you can get 2 fried eggs at IHOP for 1 Smart Point. The Subway rotisserie style chicken, just the chicken, the meat only, is 0. KFC sweet kernel corn is 0 now. Qdoba roasted chili corn salsa, which is delicious, is 0. Perkins, you can get 2 eggs for 0 Smart Points. Jimmy John's kosher dill pickle, 0 Smart Points. Carrabba's Tuscan grilled chicken, just the chicken, 0 Smart Points. Bob Evans grilled chicken breast, 1 chicken breast is 0. Chili's black beans are 1 smart point, but still 1 for Chili's black beans. Bob Evans scrambled eggs, 0. Moe's corn pico, 0. Saladworks vegetarian veggie soup, 0. Wawa, if you're on the road, the Wawa oven roasted turkey, just the meat, is 0. Boston Market, their poultry gravy, the gravy is 0 smart points. Let me flip over here, maybe. Okay, Red Lobster's wood grilled tilapia, 1 smart point. IHOP Simple and Fit omelet, spinach, mushrooms, and tomatoes with fruit. Okay, and if you've never had one of those, that's huge. I mean, it like takes up the whole plate. 1 Freestyle smart point now. Cracker Barrel lemon pepper grilled rainbow trout, 1 fillet is 1 smart point. Okay, and then these are the ones that I'm the most excited about because we get this at work a lot. Wendy's, a large chili is now only 4 smart points. Woo! Yeah. And a small is 3 smart points. We get that all the time, and it was 7 and 4, and so now I can get a large for 4. We'll be eating at Wendy's a lot. And Chick-fil-A, the grilled chicken nuggets, there's a lot of debate over if any quantity is 0. It's like 5. If you get 5 of the grilled chicken nuggets, they're 0. But come on, if you get 8 to 12, if you get an 8 count or a 12 count of the grilled chicken nuggets, it's only 1 smart point. Go ahead and get 8 or 12, they're delicious. And the Chick-fil-A egg white grill is only 6 smart points now. That is in no way, shape, or form everything that's available, and I'll try to put a more inclusive list on my blog when I do the transcripts for this. But we are getting close to the next stop, I think, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Again, this wasn't live. I did not do this live today because we are driving home, and there is no way I was going to rely on the cell reception to not to not do this. Plus, I could go ahead and get this done and post it at 8, even if we're unhooking the camper, so that we could still have a chat tonight. Comment, please do comment, please tell me hi. I promise I will say hi back to you. Thanks for letting me do it this way, so that we didn't have to stop somewhere at 8 just to do a chat. Okay, and I want to leave you with this. My challenge for you for this week. Those of you who are struggling, those of you who aren't finding a whole lot of things that you like, and even those of you who are loving Freestyle Smart Points, I want you to look over the 200 item list. And remember, it's posted in the 50th chat on www.ifyouhaveanegg.com, and it's also on the Weight Watchers app, and it's in a whole lot of other places. I want you to look through that 200 item list, and I want you to pick one new thing, one thing that you've never tried before, just one. And I want you to try it this week, and I want you to report back to me and see how you like it. So, the 90% of you that are loving it, keep up the good work. Keep up the comments about your successes. Let me know your new recipes. Let's keep sharing those food ideas with each other. There's got to be a million ways to make lentils. You know, my mom's the only person who had ever made lentils for me, but I've already seen probably 5 or 6 things made with it over in the group. But yeah. So see, that means my time is up because I'm getting choked. So pick one thing, comment on it. I want to hear how y'all are doing. The 10% of you all that are struggling, remember what I said about getting enough water. Find one thing. I want to hear one thing that you tried. And if you're still not finding anything, I want you to message me, and I'm going to find something that you'll eat, something that you will eat and you will enjoy. So y'all have a great week, and let me know how you're doing, and I'll see you later. Bye.